What if you could increase your revenue right now in your salon, as well as put more money on the bottom line? Like you could increase your profitability right now without even putting one new client in your chair. What if you could do that? Well, what are you talking about, Dean? Well, very simple. There is, in fact, one sure way to increase your revenue and your profitability at the same time in your salon. And you could start doing it today if you could just increase your sales per client. You might call it average ticket. I don't like average at anything I do, so I say sales per client. And you are in fact selling something when your clients come into your salon. And of course, you might be looking at me going right now, duh, Dean, of course, that is a way to increase revenue. But the question comes down to, how do you do it? Well, let's talk about what the problem is first with increasing your sales per client. The number one thing I've always heard, of course, in the beauty industry is that sales is a dirty word. No service provider wants to feel salesy or pushy. You don't want to sound salesy and you don't want to feel like you're being too pushy with your clients. And so before they're counting the pennies in their wallets and purses, you're already counting it and trying to decide for them how they should spend it, even though that part's none of your business. But what I've discovered is when you don't have clarity around 4 areas of the service is the reason you don't ask for the sale. It's the reason you don't do the upgrade, the reason you don't ask them to do the add-on. And so here is how you make sure you increase your sales per client without ever feeling salesy or being pushy, and you will increase your profitability right now. The first question you must have an answer to is, what is your client's desired outcome? What does your client want to achieve? What's the dream when they come to see you, when they sit in your chair? What needs to happen for them to believe that they made the great choice to come see you today? What's your client's desired outcome? And you make sure you understand that and repeat it back to them in a way that makes them nod their head as if to say you understand them better than they understand themselves. The second thing that you must have an answer to is, what does it mean to them? Is it going to be meaningful and impactful? What does it mean to them to achieve this desired outcome? What's the perceived value? And of course, on a scale of 1 to 10, you want that to be a 10. You want the desired outcome to be a 10. And so now you understand how valuable it is for them to achieve this desired outcome that you have now defined. So the next thing that you need to do is understand what it's going to take to create that high perceived value and achieve that desired outcome for your client. So that comes down to your time, your energy, the tools, the resources, the products that you're gonna have to employ to make sure that you create that value and achieve that desired outcome. And when you take a look at that blueprint, you understand the desired outcome, client knows that you understand the desired outcome. Number 2, you get the value. You get why. You know how meaningful and impactful it's going to be for them to achieve that desired outcome. And number 3, you and your client now know what it's going to take to do it. The time, the energy, the resources, the tools, the products that you're going to use in the salon to make sure it happens, and the ones that they'll use when they go home. The ones you're going to recommend that they take home with them so they can continue to look and feel fabulous. Once you've got those 3 areas covered, the next thing I'd like you to do is put yourself in your client's shoes and ask yourself, if your service provider understood exactly what your desired outcome was and knew how much it meant to you, how impactful, how meaningful it would be for you to achieve that desired outcome, and they spent their time and energy and resources and tools and products to make sure that that happened, do you think that your service provider would deserve a fair price for the value that was provided to you? And of course, the answer is yes, of course they do. So you deserve a fair price for the value that you're going to provide in using your time, your energy, the tools, the resources, the products to create that value and achieve that desired outcome. You see, all too often, here's what happens. Client comes in, you don't actually know what the client wants, and you never get to figure that out in your consultation because you're probably asking some of the wrong questions. Okay, so when you're confused or not clear about what your client wants, you don't know how to put a value on that. And so you speculate. You start counting their pennies before it's even time for them to pay you. And you start to feel uncomfortable with the idea of pushing for yet another sale, another upgrade, do an add-on, do this, do that, buy these products, take them home. It makes you feel salesy and pushy because you don't understand what the desired outcome is and how valuable it is to your client, what it means to them. And they definitely don't understand what you're going to need to do to make it happen because you don't tell them. You don't tell them what it is, and you should be. And that's why you feel uncomfortable. That's why you feel unclear. And that's why you don't want to be pushy. But when you understand the desired outcome and you get the value, what it means to them and how impactful it's going to be for them to achieve it, and you know what you'll have to do, and you convey that to them, what you have to do, the tools you have to use, and the products you have to employ to achieve that look and feel for them today, they will happily pay you a fair price for the value that you provide, and you're going to watch your sales per client go through the roof. I hope that serves you, and I'll see you next time.